What's going on, guys? Welcome to, if you're watching this back after the live session, um, I normally do live sessions on my channel, inclusive of pre recorded videos. Okay, so this is one of them. If you can hear me, if you can see me, hit the like button. Let me know you can hear me. Okay, so if you can hear me. So basically, immigration topic is basically one of my topics that I like to talk about because it's basically really connected to a bunch of us immigrants and stuff. Yep, I can see you guys. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. This is going to be a brief, straight to the point, session. All right. Be sure to share my videos and like my videos and share them with your friends and families. So this one actually came as a request from I've had several emails from a bunch of you guys that watch my content, and I had people basically saying they applied to the U.S. embassy and all that stuff, and they applied and it's been, and I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to make a video and just address things to the best of my own knowledge. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, the parts of the world. All right. So hit the like button, hit the like button. Okay, so why is it hard to get, an American visa as a Nigerian? I've got my notes here. If you find out that I'm looking at something, I've got my notes here. So there are a couple of things, bullet points that I've put down that I'll talk about quickly, and then we talk about a few other things. And some of you on the live session, if you want to, leave your comments, you can do so. All right. Now, there are two major bullet points that I'm going to talk about. The first one being one of the reasons why it's currently become difficult for Nigerians to get American visa: high immigration rates. Okay, and the reason for high immigration rates basically is poverty, low in Nigeria, high rates of unemployment, and of course the bad economic climate. So I think that's already a common knowledge that's, I would say, globally known. But these can be regarded as the internal problems that the citizens of Nigeria are faced with. And so what this means is there's a massive spike in the application and the daily queues and applications for US visas and Canadian visas and all sort of other countries, and basically a bunch of Nigerian citizens want out. They're looking for every means possible to break free. Now, as a fellow human being, let me put out a disclaimer. This isn't exactly to condemn anybody to say, you wanting to better your life is exactly a crime. Definitely not. Definitely not. I live in the West, okay? And I'm Nigerian by roots. So I am thoroughly aware of people's plights and reasons why, people would want to travel to other parts of the world and migrate and go settle down. But having said that, we are also, we are also responsible for a lot of catastrophic failings, unacceptable behavioral patterns, lies, and frauds in the process of wanting to emigrate to other parts of the world, abuse of immigration system. Now, what's happened is, if you look at it, the times that we live in, this is 2020, right? We live in times where virtually everyone has got a mobile phone, he's got access to the internet. So what it means is, if there is a breaking news in Iran, in United States, in Italy, within the two shakes of a duck still, I can have access to that information on my palm. I can be on my laptop. You can be sat in the comfort of your home and you can have access to that information. And basically, things go viral very quickly. So there is a global knowledge of the behavioral pattern with regards to immigration by Nigerians and how a sizable chunk of our citizens are known for, severe abuse of immigration systems of numerous countries, including the US. Now, these things are now working adversely against us, against the reputation of the country. So it's reached a point where there's already a preconceived notion about us. There is a high, all you have to do is just go to the local embassies in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Abuja, and you will find the unbelievable number of people applying every day wanting to leave. And look, please, with all due respect, this is what I'm trying to say. This is the problem that we have as Nigerians. When you hear people talking about this type of situation, with all due respect, don't instantaneously try to bring a counter argument. You see, as I'm sat here, I am a Nigerian to the core of my bones, okay? But don't start telling me about Nigerians are known to overperform. Look, let's put that aside. That's not the argument now. We have to acknowledge our failings, our daily failings, the criminalities that our people exhibit on a daily basis. Okay, it's not as soon as they're talking about this, because you might be, I don't know who you are. You might be sat in America, like I live in the UK, and you have your US citizenship, or you have a permanent residence, you have your green card and stuff. People are very snobbish. People are very dismissive, right? You need to stop all this trying to bring up a counter argument. A counter argument is not going to nullify the evidences that are out there against us. There is a mountain of data that we can't argue, we can't argue against. When people start to say, yeah, but Nigerians are abroad, some of us are lawyers, blah blah blah. Look, I'll be the first to say there are tons of law-abiding Nigerians. This is sentiment. I have a lot of people in my inbox. Phrankleen, I've gone to the embassy. They didn't even look at my this. There's been a high number of people that I actually feel sorry for, who have been victims of the plethora of failings that a lot of our people are responsible for. And this is why it's affecting the innocent Nigerians. People are applying to go on holiday. They already criminalize you. They have a preconceived notion about you. As soon as you apply, boom, they don't even give you a chance. People are denied due appeal process. People pay thousands of naira in visa fees back home. There are people with legitimate applications, and the consulars just bat them off. They don't want to know. Why? Because there is a high number of abuse. Now, like I said, I've got some notes, here. I talked about the high immigration rates, which the internal problems in Nigeria. There's a very high level of unemployment and stuff. So the Americans are thoroughly aware of this. The country is not conducive for so many, and that's a fact. It's a globally known problem. Now, the second thing is illegal immigrants. 12 million illegal immigrants were identified, in 2007, which is a while back. It's a lot higher now. And a sizable chunk of those numbers are actually Nigerians too. And that number keeps growing. Now, in a nutshell, I'm going somewhere with this. The USA is desperately trying to cut down on those numbers, the number of illegal immigrants. And many Nigerians there is growing data of many Nigerians who are actually immigrating to the US and not returning. Now, this is what I'm saying. As soon as you start having this conversation, there are people who they just put off, they don't want to hear, they don't want to have a logical conversation. And this is what pisses me off as a person. We cannot be sentimental, and you cannot live a selfish life where we think we are entitled to go and destroy other people's immigration systems. Because if they really allow us to destroy it, I think a bunch of us will not even leave abroad. Fact. People don't want to hear the truth. There's this sense of entitlement, like, oh yeah, it's because you live abroad. Nah, Nigerians, countless Nigerians are using, pay attention to this, countless Nigerians have used and are using the American B2 visas to apply for asylum in Canada, are known for, well documented for falsification of documents and lying to get even American asylum. All of this data has pretty much exposed our people, right? So when you get an American B2 visa, a valid American visa. So what it means, I've said this before, what it means is you've taken the time, the efforts, you've spent money, you went to American embassy back in Nigeria, you told them you had a business, you convinced the consular that you've got maybe professional ties, you've got property ties, you've got a solid family base back home. You have basically gone ahead of yourself. You've inundated them with all sorts of convincing stories. So the consular sits down and think, okay, fair enough. I believe this person is going to come back, and then boom, they give you a visa, right? And then as soon as you land in Canada, I mean in the US, you go to the Canadian to the border shared by the US and Canada, and then you start shouting asylum. This is what I said in previous videos. They have data. In fact, I've heard a case of someone who actually lied to Canadian authority who they've asked if have you previously applied to come to Canada, because the person applied in 2009. What do you think this is? They have databases, they have computer systems, they capture information, right? They have fingerprints, they have everything, they have biometrics, they have all these things. But we are very adamant. And then when they refused that person in 2009, it was because of falsification of documents. But I don't think they got banned at the time, right? Then you applied again in 2019, and then you falsified information. And then they cut you off for the second time, and then you got a ban. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, they obtain those statistics and they use it for like a blanket ban. And again, don't forget that one of the major campaign policies for Donald Trump's campaign policies was basically telling his people, American citizens, that he would do something severely about the illegal immigration. And he is doing it. They have sophisticated systems and data. You see, for those ones who are rigid, who don't want to consider what the truth is, that's on you. I hope someone who is contemplating on traveling abroad is watching this. Now, I'm going to read something to you on my laptop in a quick moment. Canada basically is also seeking to stem Nigerian migrants. I had a couple who recently emailed me. They were distraught, they were heartbroken because they applied for the Canadian PR, and the application was discarded. They didn't go through. They also tried to go to the States and stuff. They were basically looking for better life for themselves, particularly for their two children, which I cannot knock them for, but I can assure you that it's because of the very high number of people that abuse the immigration systems. Now, this is not me making this up. Like I said to you earlier, where was that? So it said countless Nigerians are known for using false documents, lie to even get American asylum. This is what I say to people: the power of data. But we think we are very clever. That to me is not seen as being clever, because we are self-sabotaging at a very high level. It's absolutely unbelievable. You see, when I go forward and I go destroy somewhere and I'm identified as a Nigerian, what do you think is going to happen to the bunch of Nigerians on the queue behind me? They're going to use my track record. They're going to use my data. They're going to use my record against my fellow Nigerians who are behind me. This is what I keep telling people. But some people are so pig-headed that they don't want to consider the truth. Now, let me read something to you very quickly. I promise not to take too much time on this live session. Now, look at this one. It says um, Canadian immigration officials are working with U.S. counterparts in Nigeria to stem the number of migrants crossing illegally in, into Canada, right? Nigerian asylum seekers have been crossing into Canada at its southern border with the US in growing numbers. Many were in the US with American visas before walking into Canada. In 2017, more than 20,500 migrants crossed illegally into Canada at the US border to seek asylum, about 40% of total claims. In the first 3 months of this year, which was last year, over half the 5,052 asylum claims by those who crossed the border were Nigerian nationals, and most had valid US visas. Federal Transportation Minister Mark Guney said about 90% of all irregular border crossers do not meet the criteria for refugee status and will eventually be deported. Avoiding an official border checkpoint lets migrants circumvent the safe third country agreement, an accord between the US and Canada that forces people to claim asylum in their first country of arrival. The policy is meant to better manage refugee claims and to avoid asylum shopping between countries, but is also among the reasons asylum seekers are avoiding official border points. Now, personally, I'm just a regular dude who love my people. I make YouTube videos. I've received, I think, nearly 16 emails of people talking about how, asking questions and picking my brains and discussing about how their applications have turned out negatively and stuff. And I can assure you that it's because of how our people have basically on a daily basis abusing the immigration process. So if you're watching me, if you're contemplating on traveling, all I'm going to say to you in a close is endeavor to do it properly. I said I'm sick and tired of the whole, cut corners, cut corners, cut corners. These things are catching up with us as a people. Somebody said we are our own enemies. Our society is built on lies, deceit, greed, and desperation. The worst is we don't hesitate to wash our dirty lining out there. Now I understand why. True talk. They use yeah, it's too much. People use, false gay rights, false marriage, Boko Haram, and all these lies. It's shameful, man. There was a video of a gentleman that went viral a few days ago. People, you're not even gay, and you are sleeping with a transgender person all because you want to get papers. Man, it's shocking, man. And you have people justifying this and saying, oh, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You actually get in bed with a transgender person. Yes, Kevin, the Benin boy. And the guy was exposed on the internet. You're having sexual intercourse with a transgender, all because you want to get papers. It's, I don't know. And then we act surprised, we complain. It's absolutely unbelievable. You see, all I'm going to say in the wrap is, like I said earlier, for those of you that want to travel abroad, I said this at the start of the video. If you are not prepared to embrace the truth or educate yourself and understand that this is a global crisis, this is bigger than you. So you have your tiny little desire in your house in Nigeria somewhere, or if in any other African country you want to go abroad, okay? The problem of immigration is way bigger than what your tiny little desires. You want to relocate, and people are already infiltrating your minds with how to lie and forge documents. And look, these things will catch up with you. There are multi-millions of our people scattered abroad without papers. Go and ask anybody who is going to be honorable enough to tell you the truth. life abroad is not easy. But life abroad without papers is hell. You know, don't let anybody tell you, oh yeah, yeah, when you get there, yeah, da, da, da. Yeah, people do what they have to do. But my brothers, my sisters, life abroad is challenging enough. Your ass is black. There's already the daily microaggression we have to face because we're living in systems that are not exactly designed for you and I, right? So imagine you haven't got papers. You live in the shadow of the system. It's challenging. It's absolutely difficult. There is no point using mindsets whereby you think you are smarter than the system. You're wasting your own time. When they catch you, they come down heavy. Again, in close, I'm not saying you shouldn't better your lives, but I am particularly concerned about what the impact will be on Nigerians in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years, because the data is out there and it's not getting any better. There is hatred, there is disdain for us, there's a lot of misconception. The law abiding Nigerians are falling victims of all these preconceived notions, of all this, this negative data and information that's already circulating the world about us. It's all I'm saying. Let me just read a couple of things here. People are desperate to better their lives, but that's no excuse to do the things the wrong way. Thank you, Pricey. People are desperate to better their lives. You want to go to Canada? You want to go to Canada and hopefully apply for Canadian PR. Do it properly. If you cannot afford it, tough. But to think you're gonna get, the US visa and then you're gonna go to Canadian border. See, as soon as you go apply, and let me tell you something. The fact that you're not seeing things on YouTube, you're not seeing videos on the internet, nobody's gonna come and make video. Hello, my name is Phrankleen. I just got deported from the US because I tried to beat the immigration system. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Nobody's gonna make that kind of video. But the reason I'm saying this is there are thousands upon thousands, hundreds, thousands upon thousands that are getting deported, that are getting jailed. The fact that you're not hearing about them on YouTube or reading about them on the popular blogs doesn't mean they're not happening. As I'm sat here, a bunch of people have been deported today for trying to, for basically committing immigration offenses. Is all I'm saying. Nobody's going to come and make a YouTube video and say, "Oh, myself, my wife, and 5 children got deported from United States. Please subscribe to my channel so you can learn from my stories." Nobody's going to say that because it's a shameful thing. In most cases, it's a life-shattering experiences. So this is all I'm saying, man. We are our own number one problem. We are the ones setting ourselves up for failure, for downfall. The average Nigerian is very stubborn, very adamant. They don't want to blend and understand what the rules and regulations are. And when you have a criminal mind from the jump, you're basically saying you have a blatant disregard for a system that's already in place in the country you're going to. And all you're doing is trying to orchestrate criminalities on how to beat the bloody system. It catches up. It affects your brothers and sisters that are behind you. And we all of us, even me, let me tell you something, man. I'm talking passionately about this. You go. All it takes is you go somewhere. Hey, what's going on, bro? How you doing? My name's Phrankleen. Oh, Phrankleen, where are you from? I'm Nigerian by roots, and there are already people who are neck deep in prejudice, and they're already looking at you funny. I'm just wearing a polo shirt and jeans. I'm having a conversation. They already have preconceived notion. They look at a lot of us as criminals. And in fact, a lot of those people are hypocrite themselves. That's a separate conversation. But because you have a lot of our people, you get access into places and you fuck it up. You ruin it. You sabotage it. And you sabotage also the chances for your brothers and sisters who are coming behind you. But we don't want to bloody listen. Anyway, that's me done. Let's keep the conversation going on below. That's the reason why even the people back home who are on the queue, who are applying to the local embassies, they are facing this very, very, treatment of disdain. They are facing this brick wall. They are facing this plethora of unfair treatment because they have unbelievable mountain of data of Nigerians abusing the system. Then we shout about ill treatment. We are our own number one problem. Don't apply for US visa and go and run to Canadian borders. Even the Canadians now are becoming really hostile towards us because it's like these people are the host countries. You want to come. Yes, like Canada. Canada need people. There is a ongoing Canadian PR programs that you can benefit from, but there is too much criminality. So even when they look at the application of a potential application that they could have given you a chance, you and your family or you and your partner, they just be like, you know what, piss off, man. I'm telling you, this is why a lot of people who could have benefited from going into these countries and establishing their lives are becoming victims of ill treatment by the system. Anyway, that's me. It's your boy Phrankleen. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, show your love, man. And I'll definitely, let's keep the conversation going on below. I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Peace and love. Finally, for those of you traveling, contemplating on traveling, think about it. Do it properly. Do it properly. Don't let anybody lie to you, man. There are millions of Nigerians abroad and other nationalities who are becoming a drain to the local resources of those cities and those countries, because when you are illegal, you live in the shadow of the system. A lot of people are trapped doing menial jobs and it's very hard to survive. If you get arrested, it's a long-wounded, tedious process. A lot of people are trapped in the system waiting donkey years to get their papers. That's all we are saying, okay? Nobody's saying to you, don't travel or don't better your life. Do it properly. Ask questions. Ignorance is not an excuse. Peace and love. Bye now.